Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Mark Schultz, and I'm here for another exciting edition of Recovery in Aviation. And you know that this has been a passion of mine since early this year, where we've been focusing on recovery in aviation. But today we have an edition of growth in aerospace or growth in manufacturing. And so what we have today is we have guest speakers today who are going to be focusing on what they're doing within the aerospace and manufacturing industry. All right. And so, hey, listen, this is a live broadcast, a live presentation. And so you are going to have an opportunity to be able to ask questions during this live broadcast. And so stick with us because we got some exciting speakers coming up. And I also have a co-host with me today that I'd like to introduce to you. And my co-host is Dean Cameron. Hi, Dean.
Hey, how you doing, Mark?
I'm doing fine, Dean. Hey, Dean, where are you located today?
Beautiful Spokane Valley, 24 degrees, a little frosty on the pumpkin.
Oh boy, fantastic. All right, okay. Hey, listen, Dean is the editor and CEO. He's with Top Drawer Media. He's the editor of Northwest Aerospace News magazine. And Dean and I have partnered because he has a lot of really interesting relationships with manufacturing within aerospace. Dean, I think you have a pretty good circulation on your publication, right?
Yeah, we're just hitting about 8,200 subscribers in both our digital and print platforms, with a lot of organic traffic on the website as well. So we're blessed to see a lot of exposure.
These are some older editions, but I have some editions of your publication here with me, just in case. They're a bit like a Bible. There, you know.
By every newsstand.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Well, hey, listen, let's just jump right into what we're doing because I think we have some really exciting guests here with us today. And so I wanted to get started. And Dean has arranged these, and it's great because our first guest comes with a company called Altec Manufacturing, and he's a longtime friend of yours, right, Dean?
That's correct. Yes.
Excellent. All right. Well, let's just bring him in and let's begin the discussion with him. Hey, good morning, Rick.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Doing great.
And how are you, Rick?
Real good, thank you.
Good. Hey, Rick, where are you located at?
Liberty Lake, Washington. Just
Liberty Lake,
Spokane.
Oh, okay. Spokane. Excellent. All right. Well, good. Hey, listen, Rick, we are going to have a good conversation today about Altec. And I would like to start off by just asking you, who is Altec and what do they do?
Altec is our region's premier specialty manufacturer. We specialize in a whole host of core competencies. Our primary focus is plastic injection molding, machining, and a wide variety of value-added services to give our customers a finished and tested subassembly.
That's great. And we're going to explore that more and find out more about that. Rick, what is your role in the company? You're vice president there. What do you do?
I'm vice president. I've been here for 35 years, and over the years, I've worn many hats. So I know where all the bodies are buried.
Okay, all right. Very interesting. All right, okay, good. Hey, listen, let's begin our conversation about Altec here for a minute, and I'd like to just maybe start out by, just having a bit of an overview of it. And one of the things I want for people to understand is really what is it that Altec does. And I thought just maybe just a starting point is saying, what do you focus on? What is it? What do you really do? What is your specialty, Rick?
Our specialty is really focused around aerospace and medical. We do a lot of concurrent design for manufacturability with our customers. We want to be involved early on in the process. I think what Altec brings to the table is a great engineering team that really helps to solidify a product, an engineered product, to deliver it to market, both for time and at the lowest cost. By utilizing our internal strengths, which is primarily plastic injection molding, machining, and just a wide variety of value-added services to deliver that finished and tested subassembly.
Okay, well, that's good. So if I hear what you're saying, then is that you do support of design and engineering companies, and you do manufacturing. Your core business is manufacturing. But Dean, you've known this company for a long, long time. If you're somebody out there in industry, what do you perceive Altec as? Who are they?
Well, Altec's really a partner from the beginning of a project. As Rick mentioned, the beginning of a project through its completion. And manufacturing of their tooling, manufacturing of any machine components, the injection molding, the marriage of those components, the painting, the assembly, the electronics, the testing. I mean, Altec is a full service company.
Okay, all right. And let me just make it clear to people out there that are listening, Rick, is that your company's core business is to manufacture products, right?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, and you provide these engineering services in order to be able to help people to do what? Why do you provide engineering services to people?
Well, our company has really been built around working with the engineering group within our customer base. We want to be involved early on in the program to really help them through that process. Typically, they are designers of finished product, but don't understand the manufacturing side of what it takes to deliver that finished product. So we help them through that process with concurrent design for manufacturing. And we look for opportunities to enhance their products or to drive cost out of it early in the process.
Yeah, I think that's really so important because, in some of our conversations that we've had before, Rick, you told me about how it's really important that people design things which are manufacturable, right? Okay. Yeah. And so you guys really help them to do that, right?
Yeah, I mean, with today's CAD systems, you can design anything, but it may not be manufacturable.
Okay, all right.
Well, I would also, Mark, I would jump in and also say, what I've seen Altec do over the years is go beyond just the advice on manufacturability, but also to be involved in R&D and to try and be a leader in presenting things that may not even be available on the market just yet. So the R&D aspect is another important aspect of Altec.
Well, we'll come to that in a minute because I do want to talk about the R&D, but not just yet. Hey, listen, one of the things I like to do is I like to make sure, see, this is a live broadcast, and we like to bring people that are watching, into the broadcast so that they, so they can actually participate. And I just wanted to mention to you that we have some viewers from all around the world, which I know that you guys want to continue to get worldwide exposure. We have a viewer, Ahmed El Shazi. He's actually in Egypt, and then we have somebody who joined from the UK, here today. And I actually want to put up their question because the question really is kind of interesting, and I like to address questions as we go. He says, hi from the UK, crossover from aerospace to healthcare manufacturing. That's an increasing trend right now. So, hey, Rick, how in the world did your company actually get involved in aerospace and medical? How does that cross over?
We started in medical. Medical is what founded this company about 40 years ago. With the quality systems to support medical, it was an easy transition into aerospace. With the downturn in the economy in 2007, 2008, we knew that we had to go after a different market segment. We made the conscious decision to become AS certified and make that transition into aerospace, and it has served us very well.
Okay, well, I assume that then being diversified like that in a time like this has probably really helped your company, hasn't it?
Yeah, diversification, not only in the industries that we serve, but also in the core competencies that we have under one roof.
Okay.
Is very helpful because our skilled labor is trained to move around the entire company.
Okay.
We use standard work instructions that they're all familiar with, so it's easy to share our skilled labor in other departments.
Great. Hey, listen, for those of you watching, if you have other questions, submit them and we'll try to address your questions online. Hey, let's go ahead and continue on. I want to show you a few of the products that Rick and their company manufacturers. Rick, just so people understand sort of the business that you're in, what are we looking at here right now, Rick?
You're looking at a basic window shade assembly for commercial aircraft, an N95 mask, power supply for the aerospace industry. That round part in the center is a reagent table, heart defibrillator, a simple electrical receptacle, a power supply housing for a Tomahawk missile, and an overhead PSU panel.
Yeah, that's great. So these are primarily injection molded products then?
No, they're both machined and molded.
Okay.
There's a wide variety in both.
I guess I see we have some metal products there and some injection molded products. All right, so that gives people kind of an idea, sort of the business that you're in. And another interesting thing is a lot of the viewers that are watching this program, of course, are in aviation aerospace, because that's the market that we've been targeting. And I see you do some products here that are inside of the cabin here as well.
Yeah, we kind of specialize in PSU panels, all the overhead systems, all the grills, modular lavatories, a wide variety of hardware in the stowage bins, and some seating components. We're really focused on penetrating the seating industry much greater than we already have by introducing and developing new products, new technical processes for more robust products for seating.
For seating, okay, all right. Well, I think that we had a discussion before about some of the things that you're doing in advancing that market some. Now, I had seen that you have done sort of a study of the industry, and you've begun to look at where the real needs are in the industry and how you can provide focused or targeted services. And I think these are some of them. Can you talk to us a little bit about sort of what you've done to address those specialty needs in the marketplace?
Yes, thank you, Mark. Yeah, we made a significant investment in looking at the aerospace industry as a whole to see what markets, how the market segments break out. Seating is by far the largest opportunity. There's a lot of high-cost machine parts in a seat. So we're looking at behind the scenes, how do we develop more robust carbon fiber filled injection molded parts to replace the high cost of the machine components that are in a seat, but they've got to be incredibly robust. So introducing carbon fiber in the injection molding process is going to help us get there. We've done a lot of R&D behind the scenes at our own cost until we develop something that we're ready to expose the industry to.
Hey, what is this cosmetic overmolding R&D? What's that all about?
We do a lot of film insert molding, or in-mold decorating, as the industry likes to refer to it, where you are taking a thin piece of plastic, you are vacuum forming that plastic, that's silk screen from the underside, and you're introducing that film into the injection molded process. As you see in this slide, you can take that carbon fiber film and shoot the molten plastic in behind it, and you get a chemical bond that is very robust.
Yeah, you guys have some really interesting process. It's just really amazing. So I really significantly appreciate that. Hey, listen, so let me kind of summarize this now, is that the key things that you're doing then. First of all, I want to ask you, is that how long have you been in business now?
Altec's been in business for 41 years. I've been with the company for 35.
Wow, that's a great history, to have a lot of experience. And Dean, I think you said you've known Rick for probably 30 of those years, huh?
Pretty much most of them.
Yeah, really good. All right, okay. Well, hey, listen, I wanted to summarize here that you are doing primarily manufacturing, and that's your core business. And some of the key things you're doing is injection molding, and you're doing machining kind of processes, and you're providing specialty engineering services in order to be able to help people to optimize what they're doing, make parts machinable, make them cost effective using the right materials. And so through this partnership, you're helping to be able to create better, faster, more effective parts in the industry. Would that be accurate?
Yes, that's very accurate. And we're not afraid to invest in our customers' products either. They're faced with objectives on not knowing where to go for a specific need, or a technology that's on the cusp of being introduced, we are willing to make those investments after, of course, doing a business case study. But Altec has been built around business opportunities.
Fantastic.
I was going to mention too, Rick, that you might want to. I've seen that investment firsthand. I mean, how many CNC machining centers are in the Altec facility?
37.
Wow, that's great.
And injection molding machines?
35.
That's a significant operation that's been around for many years. Hey, listen, the thing that we're doing today is we're having a power interview, all right? And we're actually doing 4 interviews in 1 hour. And we know that we have by no means touched on even a fraction of the great things that Altec is doing and what Rick can provide. And the only thing I can do is just initially expose you to the things that they do and give you some contact information. Rick, I see here that people can go to their website or they can email you directly. Is that the best way to get in touch with you?
Yes, or call me directly. I always answer my phone, especially my cell.
Okay, great. Can they get your phone number off of the website?
Yes, they can.
Okay, good. All right, go to the website, look for Rick Taylor, and reach out to him and start a conversation. We are really passionate about helping companies in the industry, and this is one of the great companies that you're going to want to talk to because of what they do. Rick, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks, Rick.
Yep. Bye now. Hey, Dean, great company, really exciting. Thanks for arranging that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, they are. It's a really impressive company.
Okay. Hey, listen, we're moving fast today. We're going right into the next interview, and we have a company coming up called Fuchs Lubricants. Going to show you a quick video, and you guys are going to see a little bit about who they are and what they do, and then we're going to come back and talk about it. Here you go.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning. We're moving fast. It looks like we have Mike with us now. Hi, Mike.
Good morning.
How are you today? Where are you located at today, Mike?
I'm coming to you from Tacoma, Washington.
Fantastic. Glad to have you. You're just a close by neighbor. I'm just north of you. That's good. Hey, for a minute there, I thought that lubricants were boring. That wasn't very boring to me.
You put some exciting music to that. I'm feeling pretty pumped up this morning.
All right. Well, good. Hey, listen, let's talk a little bit about your company. Hey, Mike, who is Fuchs Lubricants and what do they do?
Fuchs Lubricants is an independent lubricants manufacturer supplying lubricants to manufacture across the globe. We're a global company.
I think that when people think about lubricants, they don't really, I think about a lubricant and it's what I put in my car. All right. And I'm not certain that people really understand the full impact that it's having out there, today. So I wanted to ask you a little bit is that what does a lubricant do out there in manufacturing in the industry today?
As you look around in the world that we live in, there's lubricants in every aspect of our lives. And when we talk about machining in particular, lubricants play an important part. They're the part that's the ingredient in the manufacturing process that keeps things moving. And the slide that you're throwing up here, we had a conversation the other day and we were talking about different things and about lubricants. And, Fuchs, here at Fuchs, we're all about providing technology that pays back. And, whenever I go into a consultation with a customer or an ongoing relationship, I'm always looking to answer questions about, what am I doing to provide value to you? And this chart here is just kind of representing what your total spend in a shop would look like and the way that we see it as it breaking down. And when you look at the chart, the fluids themselves, they're a 15% cost in your overall cost. If I can affect any of the other parts in that pie chart there, I'm saving you money, and that's what I'm here to do, and that's what Fuchs is, here to help all of our customers with.
Okay, so I'm seeing from this chart that 15% of in general, 15% of the costs in a shop go to fluids or go to lubricants. Now, what you're telling me though is that those lubricants impact the tooling costs, though.
Correct. Yes. Yep. So the fluid itself is providing a cooling mechanism for the bit that's running across the piece of metal, and it's providing lubricity as it machines that part. So the lubricant's highly important to the manufacturing process. And
well, let's talk about that a little bit more. I want to dig into that just a little bit deeper. Is that you tell me that you have to select the right fluids for the right job, okay? And I see there's like 4 different major factors you're having to consider here. Can you talk to me about them a little bit, just briefly?
Yeah. So again, anytime you go into a consultation, there's basic questions that I'm looking to try and answer for the customer, and in selecting the optimum fluid for them. I got to ask myself, is it safe? I need to show the customer that it's a safe product, that it's good for the people, it's good for the environment, that Fuchs itself is being an environmentally friendly company, and that it's treating the equipment right. It's doing what it's supposed to do. The basic question: will it make the parts, and will it protect the parts and the equipment? In aerospace, we're looking at the approvals. Is it approved with the OEM? Do we have the Airbus? Do we have the Boeing? Do we have the Bombardier approvals? And we have fluids for all those different OEM manufacturers. So we have to ask ourselves, are we selecting the right product for the customer based off of those needs? Is it spec'd out for the equipment? Is it approved by the OEM there? And the overall environmental regulations, am I following the rules? Like here in Washington, for example, that we don't like chlorines down here, but other states in the US, chlorines aren't an issue, and chlorine's king when it comes to that the extreme pressure additive that would be added to it. So, we're a little bit more maybe limited in Washington State, but we got to take all those factors into play when we're selecting those fluids for them. And then the biggest question is it cost effective? What's my price per gallon? That's the question that always people want to talk about first. It's the last thing that I want to talk about, because again, going back to the previous slide, if I can affect any of those things in the pie chart, I'm going to save the company money. I'm looking for the overall cost savings. But tooling, so again, in there, tooling costs play a factor. Yeah. Productivity, scrap rate, how many parts can I make per tool before I need to change out?
Well, a couple of things that drive home to me, and what you just talked about. One is that we are always, of course, asking ourselves if something is safe. Okay. And so it's good to see that you have that at the top of the list. That's really important. But, I think that the next 2 things is that I'm not certain that I always think about is that, does this fluid work and meet the, design objectives, and how are you impacting the cost of an operation? How are you impacting the cost of tooling and things like that? Those are really good points, that you brought up. I just really think people watching should think about that. Hey, listen, let's jump to this next slide that we have here and talk a little bit about, there's different areas that you're providing, lubricants and things. And really, can you talk to me a little bit about, what's happening out there in the industry, and, what are some of the trends, and what are you doing, and how are you addressing them?
Yeah, I've had a great opportunity this week, actually. Been up early because we've been connecting as a company globally. So, when you're connecting with the Germans, you're getting up early in the morning and have a conversation with those guys. Yeah. But these are the things as a company that we're looking towards. These are the things that we're always on the lookout for. How is e-mobility? How is electric car going to impact the overall manufacturing landscape? 3D printing, how does that affect your business and our business if we're printing something versus machining it? Alloys and light weighting, we're always looking to get lighter because that's going to affect fuel economy in the airplanes that we're manufacturing. And Industry 4.0 is a really interesting topic to dive into. And, for the brevity of what we're doing, for the folks that aren't aware of Industry 4.0, about 2011, it was an initiative kind of kicked off in Germany, looking at the Industrial Revolution and breaking it down into the 3 parts we've already experienced, and what does the 4th part look like moving forward. And that's the automation piece of it, which then leads to how that affects the workforce, which would lead to work 4.0, and how that affects the worker. How is automation affecting the worker itself? And then regulatory issues across the globe constantly play a role in our business, as well as obviously right now we're in a health issue. How does this pandemic affect us? And were we prepared for it going into it? And Fuchs was strongly positioned going into this pandemic, and we're coming out of it a very, very strong company.
It looks like you guys are pretty diversified. Yeah. Hey, listen, I want to throw a question back at Dean. Dean, you work with thousands of manufacturers, through your business. Is that, how do you see the impact of something like fluids and lubricants, across the industry? I mean, how does that impact businesses out there?
Well, there's no, talking about every aspect of manufacturing, there's no real small contributor. And, while people may not see the lubricants as the forefront, it really has a huge impact on the success of the companies.
Yeah.
And I see Fuchs, Mike, I don't know if you're prepared to talk about new products that you are developing or releasing, but they're constantly innovating. And, if you're not innovating, you're going to find yourself behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, and I know what you're alluding to there, Dean. And as far as our global products, we're a company that's looking to provide fluids across the globe. And what we're trying to do is that if you're manufacturing here in the United States, if you're manufacturing in China, if you're manufacturing in Germany, that you're able to have access to the same fluids across the board that meet the requirements of the most industrialized nations across the globe. So our global line of products we're really proud of them because they are manufactured in a way that they meet all the regulatory requirements across the globe, which at the end of the day, and you mentioned before, safety was at the top of mind. Safety is at the top of mind for Fuchs lubricants. And we've removed a lot of the things that are looked badly upon as far as, how they might affect health and safety. And we've been able to, with our global line, take those completely out of the formulation, providing a better product altogether. So
Okay.
We're excited. We're on the cusp of releasing a lot of great stuff this year, and 2021 is going to be an awesome year for the manufacturing.
Good. Hey, Mike, I want to ask a follow-up question. Is that, of course, this program that we do is all focused on recovery and aviation, and how are companies helping each other right now to be successful? What kind of an impact are you making on the industry right now, during these difficult times? How can you actually help people?
Well, I'm going to take it back to more of a local level. So I'm servicing the Pacific Northwest region up here, and we're up. My facility that I work for is right across the border in Langley, BC. And so as a company, and we've had our challenges with the as a society with the border closures and everything going on, but super proud of the fact that we have not missed a delivery at all. Our drivers are able to get across the border. We're able to supply to our customers. As a company, we were positioned well going into this, and our raw material supplies have been steady throughout this whole ordeal. And our people have been able to work through this and be there for our customers. So the biggest part of recovery for me is being there for my customers and being one that can be trusted in the industry to show up. And with the first slide you put up with me, that was up at an account up in Everett, Washington, large aerospace manufacturer. And that was during the pandemic time. So somebody just captured a snapshot and had sent it to me. And I'm there for my customers. And
that's good. Customer service and support is, so important. That's really important. And you talked earlier too about being able to impact the bottom line directly. I mean, how do you help people to impact the bottom line and reduce cost?
Yeah. So, the interesting thing about the pandemic, one thing that of course we all want it to go away, but it has started conversations, because before the pandemic, folks were just busy, don't have time for you, don't have time to look at that. As you stated, lubricants were kind of overlooked. It's just something I put in my car. We're having a lot more discussions with our customers and new customers about ways that we can save money. So the way that we impact the bottom line is with our research and technology. The video that you threw up in the first beginning of this, the introduction, that's our basic benchmark for what we're doing for the customer. That was a torque tap test bench. And basically they're just drilling holes, using fluids and benchmarking, can we help you do better? And, the thing about Fuchs, we have a complete line of lubricants for our customers. So we can be the one-stop shop for everybody, where our competitors, they either make maintenance oils or they make coolants. And we do it all. So we're the one-stop shop. Our technology works.
Well, good. Well, listen, hey, we're going to wrap this part of the interview up here. And again, it's just impossible to have a complete discussion about all the things that you guys do and how you can help people and impact people. But I really like the fact that we overlook lubricants, and you can make a difference. All right, you can reduce cost by using the right lubricant, and you can also reduce other costs in the business, by using the right lubricant. And so I wanted to encourage people out there to reach out to Mike. Mike, what's the best way to get a hold of you? Website, email, what?
Website, email, fuchslubricants.com. My email is my name, last name, Fuchs lubricants.com. And of course, on my LinkedIn, link up with Mark, and you'll find me there. Reach out to me. I'll put you in touch with the right person. If I'm not the person, we'll find the right person to help you guys out.
Fantastic. Hey, listen, I like what you're doing, and I like how you're helping in the industry and providing customer service and support and helping people to reduce costs. Thanks for what you're doing in the industry, Mike.
Hey, thanks for the opportunity, guys. Really appreciate being here.
Thank you, Mike. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye. Yeah, great. Hey, Dean, it's something people don't think about is how can lubricants, impact cost or impact the bottom line. That's just really interesting.
Unless you're, deep in the industry, it is something that seems to be invisible, but it's not. It really makes a difference as an end result.
Yeah, well, good. Well, hey, listen, we're continuing to move on to our next interview speaker, and it's going to be Open Mind Technologies. And this is a good one. I really am looking forward to this. So let's watch a quick video and then jump right in. Hey, welcome, Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
Good morning. Good morning, Mark and Dean. Thank you very much.
How are you doing today?
Doing outstanding. Thank you very much for asking.
Great, good. Hey, I sure hope you're going to tell us later how those cutters do that. That is unbelievable.
Well, we're hoping to talk a little bit about that today.
Good, great. Well, good. Hey, Kevin, who is Open Mind Technologies and what do they do?
Well, Open Mind Technologies delivers services and develops a computer-aided manufacturing CAM software called Hypermill. Through our innovation, performance, and 100% focus on the manufacturing process, we just help our customers to make machine parts at a higher profit.
So just to clarify, you're a software company. You don't manufacture parts.
Yes, sir. We help our customers are the ones that manufacture the parts.
Got it. Understand. But that's really interesting because from some of our previous conversations, I've seen that you guys can really make a difference on what people can do with those machines, through your software. That's really interesting.
For sure it is. Yeah. I mean, we kind of chose just one innovation out of many that we did in the manufacture of a part like this. It's sometimes hard to tell the scale when you're looking at a video. And,
yeah.
The eternal problem of any business is how do you accomplish more with fewer resources?
Yeah. Can you show me that part again real quick? I just want to ask you a question about it. All right. Let's put them up on a wide screen. It looks like some of those surfaces are pretty hard to get to in the machining process, aren't they?
That's exactly it. And, this kind of really, when we talk of innovation, this is a perfect example of what my company does. A part like this is very, very common in the aerospace industry. And historically, how this was manufactured is by using a very, very small ball end mill with very small step downs, and it's a very, very time-consuming process to manufacture the inside surfaces of these parts.
Okay.
Through the study of that process, if somebody with an open mind came up with an innovation, they said, how can we make it faster? They came up with the idea of a barrel cutter. If you're not familiar with a barrel cutter, it's
I think we got a picture of one here. Yeah, I think we got a
shaped like a wine barrel.
Okay.
And the innovation was to change the geometry of the cutting tool to put the very, very large radius on the angle, and that gives you relief from the tool holder in the head of the machine tool and allows you to reach very deeply into pockets or along walls and use a short, stout, robust cutter that has a gigantic radius on it. The radius used in that video, I think it was 1,000 millimeters, which is really the equivalent of a 7.5-foot diameter ball end mill.
Wow, that's incredible. It really is. Hey, Kevin, I want to stop you just for a second because I want to continue to just acknowledge people that are out there. We have a lot of people that watch this broadcast, and I told you earlier we have people from Egypt and from the UK and from the US, and we have some people that have joined us from Venezuela and South America. And when we do these broadcasts, they're really coming from all around the world because the kind of stuff that you're doing is just really super interesting to people all around the world. And so I wanted to thank you guys for joining us. And if you guys have questions, throw them in the box. And we got the experts here, who can answer questions. And so now's the time to do it. Kevin, let me come back to this for a minute. Is from some of my previous discussions, you've told me about some great innovations you've had in software and how you've been able to make a difference. But it's not just the software that really makes the capability for somebody to do these kind of machinings, right? It's the combination of the software and the tools. Can you tell me a little bit about how your company works together with tool manufacturers and actual part manufacturers and your software to be able to sort of create this special capability?
Yeah, we're not an island into ourselves, I suppose. And so this style of cutting tool did not exist before. Barrel cutters were not traditionally used in general parts manufacture. They're common in aerospace. They were used in very, very specialized areas, and the technology is fairly limiting. So when we came up with the idea of how to do this, we approached some cutting tool manufacturers and suggested that, hey, if you make a cutting tool like this, there's a lot that we can do with it. We developed a software that makes this possible to do. It's just about point and click. The software intelligence takes care of orienting the cutter and sweeping across the area to be machined to get the appropriate result. Then, of course, it relies upon the dynamic motion of a 5-axis machine tool in order to make this possible.
Now, prior to your doing this kind of a tool and software capability, is that it took longer to make a part, or it was more expensive, or what was the before condition and then the now situation?
Longer is more expensive. So as I said, you typically use a very, very small step down. So, a part like this, a pocket like this might have, 100 passes with a 1/4-inch ball end mill. And we might reduce that to 10 passes with that large radius cutter. It's 90% machine time savings. That means you can use your machine to make more money.
Okay, so
drive profitability.
Okay, so really,
your technology works with. I mean, I saw the Grove machine there, but it works with any 5-axis CNC machining center, correct?
Absolutely. A Grove is a fine machine, but any 5-axis machine is capable of doing this. And in cases where you have perhaps maybe a older or less dynamic machine, use of this style of barrel cutter is a great way to extend the life of that machine tool, that we can limit the use and get away from the dynamic motion and go to kind of what we call a 3+2, so a fixed motion, and the software will work that all out for you automatically.
I think we have a couple of other graphic illustrations that show a little bit of that, but you were basically telling us that you can save time and money. Now, you've explained to me that shortening the time to do this and reducing the cost or have correlation, right? So to get a better return on investment on machining processes, how have you been able to impact that?
Well, there's a few different ways in which we might offer return on investment. First off, there's faster throughput when creating the process plan and the machine instruction for a particular part. That the software uses a lot of intelligence to make this easier for the programmer to do. So his time is not invested in software manipulation, but thinking about more high value activities. Secondly, we might offer less time on the machine per part. And then what I get typically most excited about is when customers realize that they can take on more challenging work, that they can work where the air is a little bit thinner, and they can make more dollars per hour on their machine tool because they're just doing the challenging work, that they have the courage to take it on.
Yeah, that's interesting. Dean, do you find that this type of software and capability is in demand, within all the customers that you have out there?
Oh my gosh, yeah. The opportunity to become more efficient, time savings, was important 9 months ago. It's more important now. And so I think there's a huge opportunity for companies to take a look at something that's going to save machine time, tool wear, all of those aspects. I think it's very important.
Kevin, what's the measurement factor for someone to, create, products? Is it time? Is it machine time? Is it money? Is it tool time? What are the things which create a value added process, in this industry?
I think it's a very interesting calculus that goes into that, and that is decided. It's really from the eye of the beholder. So there's process setup time. How long does it take to program the part and create the machine instruction? Work holding, cutting tools, fixturing, materials. If you're running a production part, then programming time becomes less important. Whereas, if you're running a production, if you're doing prototyping, then it's a combination of programming and machine time together that really becomes a factor. And so, each one of these steps is very important to profitability.
And so, at a time when we're looking at how do we help the industry, okay, you're telling me that you can reduce machine time, so we can increase throughput, we can reduce cost, by reducing machine time. Does the software have any kind of an impact to, meeting tolerances or the type of materials that you can machine? Is there any impact on that at all?
Well, certainly, I think quality software is a requirement as you get into more difficult materials, having a range of strategies in which you can approach something. But I think, more importantly, as you think about the, expense in manufacturing, this relates more to, people are expensive, capital equipment is expensive, the expendables, coolant materials, cutting tools, et cetera. These are where real expenses end up, and high performance and reliable software, enables you to take the expensive labor resource and apply it to something else. They really don't have to think about software manipulation, and the most knowledgeable people in your company can focus on where the real money is made. Interesting.
So, we take a look at the innovations that you guys have been doing, and so let me just ask you this: is that this cutter that we're looking at here right now? So you're telling me that essentially this type of a cutter didn't really exist until you had software and tool manufacturers that worked together to be able to produce that? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's really important to recognize, like, we don't make the cutting tools, even though we invented them. We make the software that drives the CNC tools, and cutting tool is part of the manufacturing process.
Okay.
Our focus was on making a better process, and the invention of a new cutting tool was the byproduct of that. Within our company, they are big fans of Seth Godin's Golden Circle. Start with why. Why would we do something? We want to make parts faster. How do we do that? We're going to increase the tangency between the cutting tool and the part to be machined and allow us to take bigger step downs. And then, what do? We invented a new cutting tool and an entirely new strategy for processing parts that didn't exist before.
Innovation.
Yeah,
it's cool. Yeah. Hey, it's interesting because I just love talking to people about the different things that they do and the passions that they have. And you're obviously passionate about, this type of capability and process. Hey, what are you most excited about, in this industry going forward? What are the next steps ahead for us?
I suppose everybody talks about Industry 4.0, and so what we're working on is new ways to relieve the burden from programming and manufacturing people by, doing what we call optimization of NC instruction before it goes to the machine tool. So it's an additional calculation that figures out where non-essential machine tool movement occurs and eliminates it safely.
Yeah.
That takes care of the thinking. In a 5X machine, sometimes there are multiple different ways to do something, and the software will work that out from the programmer and relieve that burden for them and deliver the safest, most efficient possible machine tool movement. And you're going to see more and more about that within our company. This is called virtual machine and optimization, and you're going to be hearing a lot about this in the near future.
You're a problem solver, aren't you, Kevin?
I am just a customer servant. We have much smarter people that work for this company.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Hey, Dean, you think there's a few manufacturers that you work with that might be able to use this kind of a software?
Yeah, that's a long list. It's really interesting. And I know a little bit, but I'd like to follow up with Kevin after this and learn more, because I lived that world for 28 years. We had a machine shop, did a lot of machining in the thermoform plastics industry. And it's really exciting technology.
Excellent. Well, Kevin, listen, we've only just really scratched the surface of the capabilities that you guys have and what you do. And, I really appreciate you taking time just to give us a little bit of a peek into your world and what you do. Hey, I know people are going to want to get more information about the things that you do. But best way to reach out to you, email, website, how?
Email, certainly the personal Google machine really really is no problem to find Open Mind Technologies or Hypermill in the United States and get in touch
Okay.
with me. My email address is there. And what I really want you to do is, as you're walking through your manufacturing facility and you see a ball mill in use, start questioning why. Why are we spending all that money to make that part? We can do better. And then talk to us.
That is a great way to end the segment. I just really like that. So we should be asking ourselves, why are we doing things? We shouldn't just do things status quo. I love that. That's great. Hey, Kevin, thanks for joining us today. And we look forward to your success into 2021. Thanks.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you both.
Great. Good. Hey, Dean, another innovative company. I mean, just doing stuff that's different and helping people out, trying to help people to be successful.
I lived when I was working in manufacturing, the design, working with people to build tooling. And from my engineering department, I heard over and over again, that's an impossible radius. We can't get a ball end mill in that far in the part. So
wow. Okay.
That's really exciting.
Okay. Our first guest today, Rick Taylor, he talked about how they like to partner with people to help them understand machinability, how to make parts that you can actually manufacture. Well,
Right.
Definitely if you have guys that have new capabilities, there's new innovative ideas and the ways that you can do things. That's really interesting how these things interlace, together,
And from the ground up, I mean, the lubricants matter too.
Yeah.
And so, it's exciting to see these things being developed. And I think sometimes, we have to look for that silver lining in the midst of chaos. As Mike was saying, people are slowing down and taking a look at the innovative ideas, whereas before they were just so busy they didn't have time.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be very helpful here in the next year.
Yeah, well, good. Well, great. Hey, listen, we have one more power interview coming up here, and it's with a company called Starrag, and they're going to bring this all together here at the end because they come at this industry from a different perspective. We're going to watch a quick video about them, and then we're going to be right back with you with the next one.
The world is in a constant state of change and progress. Our world is made up of technical solutions that enable this progress. Regardless of the industry sector we are active in. Your needs are the focus of everything we do. Profitability, safety, and growth. We help you to change the world. How do we do this? That's very simple. We listen to you and ask the right questions. Talking with you about cost effectiveness, growth targets, and competitiveness. About ways to reduce your production costs and to increase efficiency. And how to simplify processes and maximize productive time. Developing optimum solutions tailored to your needs. We attach great importance to reducing processing costs and achieving shorter throughput times. Added security through improved delivery reliability, repeatable processes, and consistent production quality. And to increasing competitiveness by opening up new market segments. Creating measurable added value for you and contributing to your success. We help you to change the world. That is what we stand for. Engineering precisely what you value.
Welcome, gentlemen. How are you today?
Doing excellent. Thanks for having us, Mark.
Thank you.
Very good. We have Tim and Udo here with with Sterig USA. Udo, let me just start out by welcoming you to the broadcast here today. Where are you located at?
We are currently located in our U.S. Headquarters here in wonderful Hebron, Kentucky.
Okay, perfect. Hey, listen, let me just start out real quick. Is that people are probably not familiar with who Sterig is, and I wanted to know if you could just tell us who they are and what you do.
Absolutely, Mark. Sterig is a manufacturer of high-precision machine tools for a wide range of applications, milling, turning, boring, and even grinding. We are headquartered in wonderful Switzerland, globally headquartered down there. And as we said earlier, here in the United States, we are headquartered in Hebron, Kentucky. But we also have sales and service organizations around the world.
Okay, perfect. So just for clarification for the viewers here today, you don't make parts, you make the machines that enables people to make parts.
That is absolutely correct.
That's fantastic. I just like to get things in simple terms so I get where I'm going. All right, perfect. Excellent. Well, hey, let's have a bit of a discussion here. I wanted to first start out today in our conversation to help people better understand, who the company is, and then a little bit about what you do and what impact you're having. Let me go back to you, Tim, and say, Tim, where's the company located? I understand they have a long, rich history. Tell us something about the company.
Yeah, so as Udo just alluded to, we're a machine tool builder. Our company has been around with our oldest brand being from 1862 with the high precision jig bore, where we have over 1,000 years of tradition in machine tool building, specializing in building the most complex, difficult parts out there.
1862.
That's correct.
That's quite a history. Has it been the same name for all those years?
No, we weren't the same name. We're several different brands under the Sterig umbrella. Some brand names you may recognize would be SIP, which would be a precision jig bore. They're 1862. Dory, Charmin, Heckert, Drupenrein, as well as Berthier and Boomatech. So
okay.
we're several machine tool companies under one organization today.
Fantastic. That means you're quite diversified. So you're in a lot of different industries then, is that correct?
Correct. We're anything from medical to things as large as building a tank. So we always brand them aerospace, transportation, industrial, and energy. Whether the part's small or large, we'll have a solution.
Okay. So we're focusing today, primarily on the aerospace component of it. So can we have a little bit of a discussion here today about aerospace and the things that you're doing in aerospace? Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Very good. All right. Okay. Let's go to the next piece of this here. I want to talk a bit about it. I think that when people are looking at a manufacturing process, we don't really look at, I think, at least the average person doesn't look at it from there are machines that have to be created, in order to be able to do this machining. We're looking at the end product then. So I wanted to go back and ask a bit about the problems that you solve. Okay. For a minute, could we take a look at, what does your company really do? What's your core slogan? What do you really do? What's kind of the bottom line for what you're trying to accomplish in your business, Tim?
Our core slogan is going to be engineering precisely what you value. Our goal is to provide the optimal solution to effectively and efficiently produce a part. As we see parts out there today, the tolerances are getting tighter, the materials are getting harder to cut, where precision and flexibility to tackle what comes at you is critical for your success.
Yeah, and so give me an idea. Now, I know there's a lot of different kinds of machines and different industries, that you're involved in, and so I know that you're involved in different aspects of aviation aerospace. Can you give me an idea of some of the core products that come out from some of your machines, within aviation aerospace?
Yeah, so Sterig really has the full gamut of solutions for aviation and aerospace. So, for example, avionic controls, the micro machining is on our Boomatech equipment. We specialize in blade and blisk manufacturing for your aero engines. We do things at all the large structures, whether it's aluminum or titanium. For the twin aisle landing gear, for example, we have a 70% market share on our big gantry machines. So we do both commercial and defense. The F-35 program alone, we have over 60 machines in that program.
So twin aisle aircraft, you're doing the Boeing and Airbus landing gear then? Is that what you're doing? Or okay.
Yes.
Yeah, very good. And so you had 70% of the landing gear machining market on your equipment?
For the twin aisle, the very large landing gears, we have a 70% market share.
Yeah, and those are really high value components. I mean, you guys really have an opportunity to make a difference, when you're machining those value components.
Absolutely. And, the tolerances are very tight. So you need a high precision machine with high metal removal capabilities that's very reliable.
Yeah, I also happen to know tolerances and temperatures and the amount of metal you can cut off. And, all those things impact the properties of materials. And so I guess you guys are working under some pretty stringent requirements by having machines that have the ability to be able to operate like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Hey, listen, let's talk a little bit about some of the types of things that you do, a little bit beyond that is you have different kind of machines that you produce. I just have a couple of pages here, which we're not going to look at all these, but I just wanted people to kind of see that, you're doing different things. And so you're doing machining operations on high-speed aluminum and hard metal machines and also large vertical machines. So can you just tell us, how did you get into such a diverse, set of solutions that you have out there today?
Well, as we alluded to earlier, we're several different machine tool manufacturers under the Sterug name. Each company that's part of the Sterug group has specialized in solutions for many years. So, for example, the big gantries like Drup and Rhine, they're experts at landing gear. When it comes to plate mill machining, our EcoSpeed machine, which is the Dory Sharman factory, is the most efficient machine on the market. And then the STC Sterug brand for the blade and bliss manufacturing, that's always been our home. So each part of our company has specialized in a certain competency for aerospace manufacturing. And now we're a one-stop solution for everything.
Okay, let me, Tim, let me try to drive this home. Is that how does a company like yours make a difference? I mean, what, I know there's got to be dramatic differences in machines and qualities and what they do. And, we just showed 3 pages of things I don't even understand. Is that, how does your company make a difference in such a big market out there today?
Well, first is going to be the optimized solution. There's always the best way to produce a part. So we have a dedicated application team that will look at the parts and process them and provide the optimized solution. The second part of it's having a machine that's reliable. If your equipment's not available, you can't meet your production schedule, you now have a problem. And finally, the accuracy of the equipment. The parts today are becoming more and more challenging to manufacture. If you don't have a high precision machine tool, you're not going to be able to hit the tolerances. You're not going to have the automated processes required by the customer to build their part. So Sterug takes everything that we see in the market. We're constantly innovating the engineering solutions and optimizing the approach and delivering that to our customer.
Hey, how does this process work? I mean, if I'm a company that's, going to manufacture airplanes and I need a part and the machine, doesn't even exist, is it who designs the machine? The company who needs the part, or you guys do, or how does all this work? How does this work together?
Well, typically what we'll see is a customer will send us a bid package that is several different parts from your manufacturer, such as Boeing, Airbus, Gulfstream. My application team will look at it and determine what approach is the right. Is it a vertical machine solution? Is it a horizontal machine solution? Is it a mill turn grind solution? Having the full range of products under our umbrella, we really look at the part and say, look, based on the requirements we're seeing, here's what we feel is the optimal way to produce it.
Okay, so it's really a combination of 2 companies working together, a bit like our first guest talked about, Rick. Now, he talked about their manufacturing company works with people to create machinable parts. And it just occurred to me is that, well, you have to have a machine that can actually machine the part. And so there's a combination of the machine development company, the company that does the machining, and the company that needs the part needing to work together to produce the most optimum solution. So it really takes all 3 of those to come together to be able to solve the problem, is what you're telling me, right?
Absolutely. It's all about partnership and working together to build the optimal process and a manufacturable part.
Really
Well,
very.
I can say, Mark, just real quick, that in my manufacturing career, we started out with T-squares and drafting boards and a guy named Ernie running a hand-driven vertical mill. And, to see where it has evolved today, the requirements and the tolerances and just the geometry, the evolution of the machining centers has been phenomenal. And I've watched a number of videos that Stereg has online, and their equipment does things that I wouldn't have imagined a number of years ago. So it's really incredible.
Now, I would imagine that there's a lot of different options for people when going to buy machines, or are the options limited? I mean, are there a lot of different options to people? Can I go to somebody else and buy machines as well as you?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of different machine tool suppliers out there, but when you see the tolerancing that is required on today's parts and the processes that the manufacturers are certain require from like the Boeings of the world, you need a partner that is able to give you all those solutions from a single source.
Yeah, see, that's what I wanted to come back to is that why should I choose you? You know, what is the reason that I would choose your company if I was going to buy a machine?
When you look at our productivity, we always offer the lowest cost per part. So we're able to do a one-stop shop for the full process, complete turnkey, to meet your customer's bid requirement. We like to partner with our customers to enter a project together to provide the best solution so they can win the work, and in turn they end up buying machine tools. We're very familiar with the complex requirements of all the major manufacturers in aerospace. The different things in the bid specs that you see, like auto calibration cycles, temperature controlled coolants, all these things that used to never be required on a machine tool, but are today, they're standard for us, and we're able to deliver that without major effort.
Okay, you're a worldwide company, right? And do you have customers all around the world?
All over the world, yes.
Okay, has this economic downturn created any challenges for you at this time?
Overall, no. What we're seeing is a major move in what projects we're seeing. So it used to be really big in commercial aerospace, and as we all know, with the downturn, commercial aerospace has fallen off. Luckily for Stereg, we have a lot of defense-oriented solutions, as well as all the other market segments such as renewable, oil and gas, transportation, industrial. So for us overall, it has slowed down, but it's really just changed the focus from commercial aerospace to other market segments today.
Okay, well, that's what one of the things we've been talking about is it's important for people, to pivot and to be looking at opportunities that exist no matter what the market is. And I see you guys are very diversified worldwide in a lot of markets, and so you guys are a great example of that. Hey, listen, it is very difficult even to give a small look into what you guys do in such a short period of time. And if somebody wants to learn more about your company and what they can do to find out the total breadth of what you do and what your capabilities are, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Obviously, email's the best way, tim.mooney@stereg.com. Also, I strongly recommend you go to our YouTube channel. We have tons of really cool manufacturing videos so you can get a feel of what we were able to do for you.
Okay, so we can just go to YouTube and search on that and find your YouTube channel?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Hey, listen, when this is done, why don't you post a comment in this broadcast on your YouTube channel so people know where to go. That'll help give them a link, on how to find you. But that's great because I love going there and finding out what people do and what capabilities they have. That's fantastic. Hey, listen, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. And I really appreciate you guys being here today. And I appreciate the contributions you're making, into the aerospace industry and helping out at such a difficult time, in the world today. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yep. Have a great day. Bye. Dean, 4 interviews, 1 hour and 3 minutes. Wow.
Mark, if you think about an airplane, you talk about landing gear, and you talk about, how many metal machined parts are on an airplane, and all of these people that we talked about today, what impact do they have in the manufacture of that, or companies like them? It's amazing to think of the breadth of, how much estimates up to 40% of the aircraft interior being plastic. And so, Rick's handprint and Mike's handprint and Kevin and the CAD systems and Stereg, it's amazing, this lineup of companies, what kind of impact they have in the manufacture of aircraft.
Yeah, Dean, I really want to thank you for the work you're doing in the industry. Just at the beginning of the broadcast, we talked about the work that Dean's been doing in the industry with his magazine Northwest Aerospace News, and not only coordinating with events, but doing marketing, for those different companies. But what that's allowed him to do is to really work across the industry quite broadly, and to bring a lot of different people together. And I'm really all about that. And I appreciate you, Dean, and the work you're doing, and I appreciate the fact that you brought people in here today, as part of this broadcast. It's really great. Hey, before I sign off, Dean, I just want to say we've had a lot of people join this broadcast in the last hour, and I want to give a shout out to a friend of mine, Max Oliveira. He just joined here at the end. Max, you're going to have to go back and watch the early part. There's some good stuff there. He used to work at Northwest Airlines and Airbus and Delta, and I think you're going to see some good stuff you're going to want to see there. So, hey, listen, I really appreciate people that get on the broadcasts and join us, and we do this on a regular basis. Dean is going to arrange, another in the future, and we're going to bring people together and continue to try to bring good information to you that'll help support growth within our industry. Dean, thank you for arranging this for us today.
Mark, thank you. Appreciate all that you do.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us today, and I'm looking forward to our next broadcast. I'm going to sign off today the way I always do. I'm going to say fair winds and following seas, and thank you, everybody, for joining us in this Recovery in Aviation broadcast today.